My goodness, the WNBA, the Indiana Fever organization, it's a complete circus and a clown show. Now, look, I don't know. We got to go through what Bree Turner is alleging versus the Indiana Fever organization in response to Sophie Cunningham. And I was staying away from it, but damn it, we can't stay away from it because it's here now. Sophie Cunningham blasted.
The 2026 WNBA All-Star Weekend was supposed to be the biggest celebration in league history. With millions of dollars from TV deals and major sponsors, officials expected a perfect event that would show the league at its best. But everything went terribly wrong. Instead of a celebration, the weekend turned into complete chaos. Shocking leaks, growing frustration, and serious behind-the-scenes drama exposed problems the public was never supposed to see. Players began speaking out, insiders revealed disturbing claims about how athletes were treated, and some of the league's biggest stars refused to take part in its biggest events. As panic spread through league leadership and concerns grew among business partners, the WNBA faced one of the biggest crises in its history. What was once hidden behind bright lights and packed arenas is now out in the open, and many believe the league may never be the same again. For years, players were expected to stay quiet and simply do their jobs, no matter what happened behind closed doors. But now, that silence has finally been broken.
Got to get into this. Oh my goodness. This is nuts. We're going to get into all the tweets, but she started right here. She said, an issue that has caused problems, though. So she's saying transgenders has not caused any problems in women's sports. This is Bree Turner. An issue that has caused problems, though. Last year on my WNBA team, the Indiana Fever, a male staffer was fired for sexual harassment, but we were encouraged to keep quiet about it. That is an issue. Sexism, misogyny, homophobia, and racism are all issues. Bree Turner just put the Indiana Fever organization on blast. I don't know if this issue, look, I'm not a huge fan of Bree Turner. I'm not into all the activism stuff, but I don't think that she would come out and just lie. Like, it would be really weird if she came out and lied about this, saying a male staffer,
The crisis grew even bigger when serious allegations involving the Indiana Fever became public after veteran WNBA player Brianna Turner shared a shocking post on social media. She revealed that a male team employee had been fired during the previous season over allegations of sexual misconduct. But what shocked many people even more were claims that the situation was kept quiet. According to the accusations, team leaders encouraged players not to speak publicly about what had happened, raising concerns that protecting the team's reputation was placed ahead of transparency. The organization later released a brief statement saying player safety is a priority, but many fans and players felt it did not fully answer the biggest questions. As these claims spread across the league, frustration continued to grow. Many players began questioning whether enough was being done to protect them both on and off the court, fueling wider concerns about player safety, league leadership, and accountability.
100%. I know that it definitely freaks out me and my teammates along with girls on other teams.
Yeah. Ella, and you are suing your high school because they allow biological boys in the locker room with you, and you've incurred harassment.
Whoa. I didn't even know this part. So this young lady right here is suing her high school for letting biological boys into the female locker room? Hold on. This is crazy.
And my teammates along with girls on other teams.
Yeah. Ella, and you are suing your high school because they allow biological boys in the locker room with you, and you've incurred harassment from that?
Yeah, so I stood up at the school board meeting and said that I think this is inappropriate and boys shouldn't be allowed to share bathrooms and similar spaces like that. And I kind of got shut down. So they said that if you want to take a step forward, you have to sue the school. And so that's what we did.
Wow. And
yo, this is crazy. Wait a minute.
Yeah, so I stood up at the school board meeting and said that I think this is inappropriate and boys shouldn't be allowed to share bathrooms and similar spaces like that. And I kind of got shut down, so...
And Sophie Cunningham entered the spotlight. Known for her fearless style of play and willingness to stand up to anyone, Cunningham has built a reputation for never backing down on the court. Reports claimed she was deeply frustrated after hearing about the allegations and the league's response. According to behind-the-scenes rumors, she believed players deserved stronger support and more accountability from those in charge. She quickly became one of the loudest voices demanding change, encouraging both veteran stars and younger players to speak up instead of staying silent. The message was clear: players should not be expected to promote the league while feeling their concerns are ignored. Whether every rumor is accurate or not, Cunningham's outspoken stance added fuel to an already growing controversy, turning frustration into a league-wide conversation and making the 2026 All-Star Weekend even more turbulent.
But I don't think that she would come out and just lie. Like, it would be really weird if she came out and lied about this, saying a male staffer, like, for her to make it up. I don't think she would make it up. But this is definitely in response to Sophie Cunningham saying biological men should not be playing in women's sports, point blank, period. Okay. And she came out and threw the Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham, who just spoke about this in the Indiana Fever pregame, through the Indiana Fever. Yo, this is crazy. And if the Indiana Fever did tell people to be quiet about and all that, that's foul. That's nasty work. And everybody should be held accountable from the top down. From the top down. They should be held accountable. Okay. Cheryl Reeves said, of course, it weighs on me. The attacks on trans people, everything that they've gone through makes it seem like it's got way more aggressive. It's sort of sickening.
As more players began speaking out, the situation quickly grew into a much bigger controversy. Frustration spread across the league, and attention soon turned to the 2026 WNBA All-Star Weekend. Then came one of the biggest headlines. Caitlin Clark announced she would not participate in the three-point contest. The official reason was to focus on her recovery after dealing with injuries, but her decision immediately sparked intense debate among fans and the media. Many wondered whether there were deeper issues behind her choice, while others believed it was simply the right move for her health. Whatever the reason, Clark's absence was a major blow to one of the weekend's biggest events, leaving the league without one of its biggest stars and creating even more questions during an already controversial All-Star Weekend.
They are always trending topic. Unfortunately, I'm in my 8th season as a WNBA player. To date, there's been one out trans player in the league. They caused 0 problems. An issue that has caused problems, though, last year on my WNBA team, a male staffer was fired for sexual harassment because we were encouraged to keep quiet about it. That is an issue. Sexism, misogyny, homophobia, and racism are all issues. There are many sex variations, and then she went into the whole thing. Okay, from my time, my undergrad at Notre Dame, I took many courses where I became better educated on the trans community. My studies have led me to be inclusive. Okay, now this whole rant, she said, I know people speaking about trans inclusion as a recipe for hate and such an awful platform, but I would much rather the hate come my way instead of the trans community, and my mentions are off anyway. If you're interested in supporting the trans community or becoming more knowledgeable about how they are constantly under attack, some of my favorite nonprofits, and then she listed them and yada, yada, yada. Now, this is all in response to what Sophie Cunningham doubled down on saying today. Check this out.
On that same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so
the controversy kept growing, and league officials faced even more pressure as fans reacted to the changing All-Star lineup. Caitlin Clark's absence from the three-point contest had already created major headlines, and many wondered how it would affect TV ratings. The situation became even more noticeable when defending champion Sabrina Ionescu was also not on the participant list. At the same time, veteran Kayla McBride publicly criticized the league, saying the invitation process felt disappointing and poorly handled. Her comments added to the growing frustration surrounding the event. Together, these developments fueled a larger debate about player treatment, communication, and leadership within the WNBA. What began as concerns over one event quickly turned into wider questions about how the league was being managed. With sponsors, broadcasters, and fans paying close attention, league leaders faced increasing pressure to rebuild trust and address the concerns being raised by players.
Connecticut is playing really good as a whole. I think everyone's playing their role really well, from top to bottom. You know, they don't go out there and do anything outside of what they do, and that makes it difficult. And so, you could look at standings and where they're at in the league, but when you do that in this league, you're going to get beat by 50. And so, we have one more game before break, and we cannot take this game lightly at all. And so we have to come out with following our scout, following our game plan offensively, making them play us into what we do. But, you know, BG's a load for anybody.
Last one I have, Sophie, how do you, I guess, navigate a climate where whatever you say, people are going to say, well, this means you're automatically in this box or this label or that label, politically, morally, whatever?
I really don't care. I know that sounds bad and I'm not trying to come off like that, but I do think, everyone always is coming at it as a negative. Well, me coming out with that, there's so many people who are coming out with the positive saying, you know what, finally someone has said something. And I don't really look at either side of those because I know whatever I say, I'm going to get hate and I'm going to get love. And if I'm going to live by the love, I'm going to die by the hate. And that's just not who I am. I beat to my own drum. And so people are always going to have something to say. You could win the championship. You could be the best at whatever it is. And there's still people who are going to hate on you. And so that's just what this world is. So I'm confident in who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I'm happy being me. I'm going to continue to be that.
Have you always had kind of that mentality when it comes to, people saying things, or is that something you've built and learned to adapt over time?
I think I've always kind of been able to, handle that type of pressure, I would say, and the type of eyes and the type of people who have comments. And like I said, there's, going to be some negative comments, but there's also a whole bunch of positive comments too that no one really ever, people hate positivity for some reason. I have no idea why, but there's a lot of positive comments too when it comes to that. And so, it is what it is. Like I said, we're all human. We're no one's perfect here. And so I really don't care what other people have to say. I know who I am. My people know who I am. And hopefully I'm doing them proud and making room for young boys and girls in our world to have a better.
League leadership is now facing intense pressure as criticism continues to grow from players, fans, and the media. Many believe the WNBA underestimated how much influence today's players have and expected them to stay quiet instead of speaking out about issues they care about. Now, concerns about player safety, workplace culture, and league leadership have become part of a much larger public conversation. At the same time, several high-profile players have chosen to skip certain All-Star events for different reasons, adding even more attention to an already difficult moment for the league. Whether these decisions are connected or not has become a major topic of debate, but one thing is clear: the WNBA is dealing with one of its most challenging periods in recent years. How league officials respond could shape the future of the sport and its relationship with players. What do you think? Are the players right to demand bigger changes, or do you believe the league can rebuild trust and move forward? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more WNBA updates.